Hashtag your life as a mafia boss. Every level you're about to experience the complete criminal hierarchy, from street hustler to the untouchable Don pulling strings from the shadows. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why the mafia survived longer than most Fortune 500 companies. Let's start at the bottom. Level 1, the street soldier. You're 22 years old, broke and angry at the world. Your neighborhood is controlled by the Cosa Nostra, and you've watched the maid guys roll down your block in expensive cars, surrounded by respect and fear. You want that life. So you approach a capo's cousin at a local bar and express interest. He looks you over and tells you something simple. You want in? Prove yourself. Your first job isn't glamorous. You're asked to collect money from a local business owner who's behind on his payments. You're not there to negotiate. You're muscle. You walk into a pizzeria with two other guys, and when the owner sees you, he knows exactly what this means. He pays. You deliver the cash to your handler, and you get a small cut, $500. It's not much, but it's respect. The shop owner now knows your face. The local police know your name. You're in the system. Within months, you're collecting debts, intimidating witnesses, and occasionally getting your hands dirty in ways you can't discuss. You're earning decent money, maybe 2-3 thousand a month, but you're also watching your back constantly. There's always someone tougher, someone trying to move up the ladder by taking you down. The worst part? You have no official protection. If you get arrested, the family won't post bail. If you get stabbed in an alley, they won't send a doctor. You're expendable. You know this. Everyone at your level knows this. But you also know that if you survive, if you prove loyal and capable, you get promoted. And that's all that matters. Level 2, the maid guy. After 7 years of proving yourself, you finally get the call. You're being inducted into the family. This is the moment every street soldier dreams about. You attend a formal ceremony in a private room. There are 10 other men being made alongside you. A high-ranking boss explains the rules. Your new life has strict protocols. You answer to a capo. You never steal from other maid guys. You never sleep with another maid guy's wife. You never deal drugs without permission. Actually, scratch that. You never deal certain drugs without permission, because some families have rules about narcotics and some don't. Being maid means your income changes dramatically. You're now earning 5 to 10,000 a month just from your standard operations. But more importantly, you've got insurance. If you get arrested, the family has lawyers ready. If someone kills you, they kill the guy who did it. You're protected. You've crossed into a new world, and there's no coming back. Your responsibilities change too. You can't just collect debts and intimidate people anymore. You're managing territory. You've got street soldiers under you now, maybe 4 or 5 guys who answer directly to you. They do the dirty work while you handle the business side. You oversee a numbers running operation, a protection racket at the docks, and a loan sharking enterprise. You're making money off 3 or 4 different criminal ventures, and each one requires management. The money is good, maybe 30 grand a month if you're smart, but the pressure is intense. Your capo expects a percentage. Your soldiers expect to be paid and protected. The businesses you're running need to actually function, and there's always the risk that someone more ambitious wants your operation. You spend your evenings at social clubs, playing cards with other made guys, establishing relationships that might help you later. You're learning the politics. You're figuring out which capos have power, which bosses are weak, and where the real money flows. Level 3, the capo. It's been 15 years in the family, and you've proven yourself reliable, smart, and profitable. You've never snitched. You've never questioned orders. You've made the boss hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now the boss sits down with you and tells you that you're being promoted to capo. You'll manage 10 to 20 maid guys and hundreds of street soldiers. Your income is now 100 to 200,000 a month, depending on what you control. But here's the thing about being a capo that nobody tells you. You're responsible for everything your guys do. If a street soldier under your command shoots someone, the boss holds you accountable. If a maid guy under your command gets arrested and flips, that's your failure. You're the buffer between the boss and the street-level chaos, and you're constantly managing both directions. You control multiple criminal enterprises now. Maybe you run the gambling operations for the entire city. Maybe you manage loan sharking, stolen goods fencing, and union corruption. You've got connections with the local police department. You've got relationships with judges and politicians. You've built a network that generates serious money. Your day looks different now. You're not out on the streets collecting debts. You're in meetings. You're settling disputes between your guys. You're negotiating with other capos. You're reporting to the boss. You're constantly thinking 3 moves ahead because any mistake gets magnified at this level. The lifestyle is obvious now. Custom suits, luxury cars, high-end restaurants. You're sending your kids to private school. You've got a legitimate business, maybe a construction company or a waste management firm, that launders your illegal money. To the outside world, you're a successful businessman. To your family, you're a criminal of significant power. The danger has actually increased, even though you're supposedly safer. You know more secrets now. You've heard conversations about major operations, about which politicians are on the payroll, about which cops take bribes. The higher you climb, the more dangerous the information you possess becomes. If the boss ever doubts your loyalty, or if a rival family sees an opportunity, you're a target not just because of your position, but because of what you know. Level 4, the underboss. There's only one position above this in the entire family, and you've just been promoted to it. The underboss is the second in command of the entire criminal organization. There are maybe 5 to 10 capos under you, which means you indirectly control thousands of people involved in dozens of criminal enterprises spanning an entire region. Your income is now in the range of $500,000 to $1 million a month, sometimes more. You control the entire money flow of the family. You decide which capos get which territories. You settle major disputes. If a capo needs permission to do something significant, start a new operation, kill someone, expand into a new racket, they come to you. Your life at this level is a careful balance between visibility and invisibility. You have legitimate businesses that are actually quite successful. You host charity events. You sit on the boards of private organizations. You're known in the business community as a legitimate success story. But within the criminal world, you're a shadow figure that everyone fears and respects. You spend your time in strategy meetings. You're thinking about the family's long-term interests. You're managing relationships with other crime families. You're ensuring territories don't overlap in ways that create conflicts. You're planning major operations that could generate millions. You're also ensuring the family doesn't get destroyed by law enforcement or by internal power struggles. The paranoia at this level is real. You can't trust anyone completely. Your closest advisor might be wearing a wire. Your driver might be an informant. Federal agents might be building a case against you. Every conversation is potentially dangerous. You speak in codes sometimes. You meet in places that have been debugged for listening devices. You're constantly calculating who benefits from your success and who benefits from your failure. Being underboss means you're the obvious successor to the boss, and that's both a blessing and a curse. Every ambitious capo in the family is watching you. Some are loyal. Some are waiting for the boss to die or get arrested so they can make a move against you. You're constantly building allies, making sure that when the time comes, you have the votes to become boss. Level 5, the boss. You've made it. You're the boss. You're the supreme authority of an organized crime family that generates billions of dollars in illegal revenue annually. There are multiple underbosses under you, dozens of capos, hundreds of made guys, and thousands of street soldiers, all taking orders that ultimately come from you. Your official income, the money you take directly, might be $5 million a year, but the real power is in what you can access, what you can control, and who owes you favors. A judge owes you a favor. A senator owes you a favor. A police commissioner owes you a favor. You've spent decades building this web of obligations. Your day doesn't look like a criminal's day anymore. You wake up in a mansion. You check in with your legitimate business holdings. You might take a meeting with a politician or a businessman. You have lunch at an upscale restaurant where people pay respect to you without knowing exactly why. You meet with your underbosses in secure locations where conversations remain private. But here's what the movies don't show you: the weight of the position. You're responsible for thousands of people's lives. If you make a bad decision, people die. If you mess up with a rival family, a war starts. If law enforcement finally builds a case against you, everyone below you could go down with you, or they could flip and testify against you. The biggest threat to your position is no longer external, it's internal. Your own people are your greatest danger. An underboss who's been passed over for promotion might be plotting against you. A capo who wants more territory might be contacting a rival family. Someone in your own organization might be cooperating with the FBI. You're constantly paranoid about succession. If something happens to you, if you get arrested or assassinated, you need to make sure the family doesn't fracture. You're choosing an heir. You're making sure that person is strong enough to maintain control, but also fair enough that the other underbosses won't revolt. The money is incredible, but you can't spend it, obviously. You can't own a gold-plated mansion with your name on it. You can't drive a car that costs more than $5 million. Everything has to be understated. Everything has to maintain plausible deniability. You're wealthy, but you're wealthy in ways that don't attract federal attention. Your relationships with other crime families are crucial. You're meeting with the bosses of other organizations. You're negotiating territorial agreements. You're ensuring that conflicts between your people and their people don't escalate into wars that hurt everyone. You're also making sure that your family isn't being disrespected. The isolation is real. You can't have true friendships. Every person in your life either works for you or is trying to leverage a connection to you. Your own family members might be in danger because of who you are. Your children could be kidnapped. Your wife could be threatened. Everyone close to you becomes a potential liability. Level 6, the imprisoned boss. Most bosses end up here eventually. Federal prosecutors finally built their case. They caught you on surveillance tapes discussing criminal activity. An informant wore a wire. The evidence is overwhelming. You get arrested. Your trial lasts months. Witnesses testify. The jury finds you guilty. You're sentenced to life in prison. But being a boss in prison is different than being a regular inmate. You've got resources. You've got money that was hidden before your arrest. You've got lawyers filing appeals. You've got people on the outside still running the family, still making money, still paying for your commissary and your legal bills. In prison, you're still the boss. You run the family's operations from a cell. Your orders are communicated through visits, through coded letters, through trusted inmates who carry messages. You're still making decisions about disputes, about strategic direction, about who gets eliminated if they're a problem. You're also a target. Rival families have associates in the same prison. They've been waiting for you to make a mistake, to let your guard down. You never eat alone. You never sleep without a trusted guy watching the cell. You're in the same dangerous world, just with bars on the windows. The years drag on. You've been in for 10 years, maybe 15. You're still running things from your cell, but the world outside has changed. Your organization is different now. Your underbosses might be challenged by younger, more ambitious guys. Your territory might be getting infiltrated. Your alliances might be breaking down. Some bosses get life sentences and accept it. They continue to run things from prison until they die. They live in a cell but maintain their authority. They're old men, broken by decades of incarceration, but still feared. Level 7, the fallen boss. You get out of prison. Maybe you did 20 years. Maybe you got a reduced sentence because you cooperated and no one found out. You're in your 70s now. The world has changed. Your organization has survived, but it's different. You don't want to be boss anymore. Your joints hurt. You're tired. You've spent most of your life looking over your shoulder. You want to retire, to live quietly, to fade into obscurity, but the organization won't let you. You know too much. You've made too many enemies. Rival families still want you dead. Federal agents still consider you a target. You can't ever truly disappear. You live in a modest house. You go to church. You attend family events. You seem like a regular old man, but everyone knows who you are. Wise guys still come to you with problems because you're still the boss, even if you're not officially the boss anymore. You still have power, still have influence, still have respect. You die in your sleep one night. You're 83 years old. Your funeral is massive. Hundreds of people show up. Maid guys from different families pay their respects. Federal agents photograph everyone who attends. Your organization mourns, and within days, they're reorganizing, replacing you with new leadership. Your legacy is that you survived. In a world where most don't make it out alive, most end up in prison. You managed to build something that lasted. You made it to the top. You held power, and you lived long enough to see your organization continue after you. Epilogue. That's the journey from street soldier to boss to fallen legend. It takes decades. It requires ruthlessness, intelligence, and luck. Most people who try this path don't make it. Most end up dead or imprisoned long before they reach the top. The Mafia worked for so long because it had structure, because it had rules, and because it offered something people want: power, money, and belonging. In a world where those things seemed impossible to achieve legally, the Mafia provided a path, a dangerous path, but a path nonetheless. Today, the traditional Mafia is weaker than it's ever been. Federal prosecutions have dismantled families, informants have testified, technology has made surveillance impossible to hide from. The street soldiers coming up now are different. The entire ecosystem has changed, but the structure remains, the hierarchy remains. Somewhere in America right now, there are still families operating, still collecting debts, still managing criminal enterprises. They're smaller than they used to be, less visible, less glamorous, but they exist. The life of a mafia boss is a life of power at the cost of freedom. You can own everything and nothing at the same time. You can command thousands while trusting no one. You can climb to the absolute top of a criminal empire, only to discover that the view from there is terrifying. That's your life as every level of a mafia boss.